Let's see if this works a little bit better. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. All this live stuff's really new to me. I think that I had the settings wrong on my phone. So, total user error, but please forgive me. As you guys know, this is only my second or third time going live, and I'm not very technologically advanced. So, hopefully this will work a little bit better for you. From the Bronx, I go there all the time. Let me know. Is this better, guys? From the Philippines, you have some good fish there. Excellent. I had my Wi-Fi off. Rookie mistake. In the basement here, the service is horrible. So that was totally my fault. Thanks, Raina. Alright, so overnight I had no issues with the Bettas, as I was saying in my unsuccessful stream. You know, it was really frustrating, and I've made it work. I wanted to set up a bunch of divided aquariums for them, but I just cleaned out the fish room and threw away like all my scrap light diffuser, egg crate stuff. I had a bunch of like bucket lids that I considered cutting, but the reality is it was just way easier to disperse them through the fish room. What that'll mean is some of the things that I had on my available stock list I'll be removing from my stock list just because there's new Bettas in there, but you know, I think it'll be for the best for these guys. I'll show you guys in a few minutes, but a lot of them had or have some pretty significant fin damage. Now it doesn't look like it has any secondary infection, it just looks like they've either chewed them or they've been in a cup too long, and that's, you know, they did send me those cups, but I couldn't let myself use them. I wanted better for these guys. Plus, I assume that whoever ends up getting them will not be keeping them in a cup. Oh, thank you, James, for the super chat. So, things down here are at a moderate level of mess. You know, as I said in the other one, I was really hoping that by doing the stream at this time, it would allow some of those people from other parts of the world to join, and it seems like that's worked. Mount Carmel, that's not that far, Carrie. Hi, Justin. Here I am. Yeah, will I be getting bumblebee gobies anytime soon? Probably not for a little bit. You know, I had them in stock for a while, and at first they sold really quickly, and when they were in really big numbers, they did fine being in there quarantined together, but as I sold a lot and I got down to lesser numbers, they didn't play nearly as nicely together. So I tried to not keep things in stock that don't do well together long term in a smaller aquarium in bulk. So things like dwarf puffers or some of the gobies, I only keep in stock infrequently so that when I do get them in stock, the demand is there. From Belgium, awesome, and Sweden, that's fantastic. Columbus, I've been there a bunch of times. Ah, another Pennsylvania, excellent. This coffee cup, you know those like silly paint your own pottery things? This is one I did there. I like to do that a couple times a year with my kids. I have no idea why. I did this one, and I did one that says Fish Pimp across it. Netherlands. Philly, you're real close. England. Portland, I was just out there. Texas, South Carolina. Wow, we have a very diverse group of fish dorks in the room today. Oh, thank you, Carrie. Canada. I'm heading to Canada twice next year. I'll be going to Toronto in June, and I'll actually be in Manitoba for my birthday in September next year. So, lots of Canada trips. I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. So if any of you are in those areas, make sure you come see me. Oh my goodness, this is going kind of fast. Thailand, that's awesome. Man, you guys are from all over the place. Someone asked if I was doing a trade show in Toronto. I am doing, I don't even remember what it's called. It's for the Aquarium Society there. I'm giving a lecture. I believe it's some sort of event, but I honestly don't remember. You know, I write down all the things that I commit to, and then I don't think about them again until it's time to book my tickets, because it gets a bit overwhelming with all the other things I have going on down here. Make Biggs take me out for a birthday dinner. I'm going to be staying with Biggs, so I imagine we'll get into quite a few shenanigans. Who are the Aquagirls, someone asked. The Aquagirls are just those of us that are women into aquascaping from all over the world. What we're trying to do is a lot, you know, there's not a very big female presence in the hobby or the industry, so we're trying to make sure that we recognize women who are devoted to this hobby. So it's just sort of like a global recognition of women doing cool things. Wow, thank you, Cecilia. Any women can join. There's a Facebook page called Aquagirls. And, you know, it's really just, you know, we post pictures of women with their tanks. You know, there's some t-shirts. It started with Jen Williams, who's my redheaded friend that I aquascape with a bunch of times. It was her concept, and we called ourselves the Aquagirls because whenever we would go to these contests or these conventions, we were often like some of the only women, and definitely the only women competing in the US for quite a while. So we just thought it was fun. It was Jen Williams, it was me and my 2 daughters, and that was our team name for Aquatic Experience. So, you know, it was just kind of a fun thing we did. And then Esther Mouse from the Netherlands, who owns Aquanova and Aquavitro, jumped on board, and, you know, she started featuring all the women in Europe, and it's just really snowballed into a cool way to recognize women in the hobby. You know, the more comfortable women are talking about what they know about the hobby and showing what they know about the hobby, you know, the better it is for all of us. Someone asked if I would ever come to Europe. I would absolutely love to come to Europe. Thanks, Timothy, for my husband's coffee. He needs it. That man works hard. Does my husband have any interest in the aquarium hobby? No, he's not interested in fish at all. Actually, the reason I got Captain Cranky Pants was to try and entice him into the hobby, but it didn't work. But while my husband isn't interested in fish, he is extremely supportive of what I do down here. He built me all my racks, he ran all my plumbing, he helped me run my my PVC loop, he did all my electrical, he set up my panel, he got me my greenhouse, he built my greenhouse. You know, he's extremely supportive. So, you know, you don't have to always like all the same things. You just have to like each other and help. Would I ever go on, Calvin Williams asked me, would I ever go on an expedition in Peru? Yeah, you know, I've been in talks with Michael Barber, who owns Go Wild Peru in conjunction with Ian Fuller, and I'd really like to make it down there. The problem I have is I have an extremely bad knee. I've had a partial replacement, and I have 4 different plates in my leg, 2 of which are broken right now, so sometimes it's not that easy for me to walk on a good day, and I'm worried about the physical demands of being down there. So I'd really like to get my knee fixed again before I do a trip like that, so I can really take advantage of it to its fullest potential. I can't imagine that traipsing through the jungle and stuff is going to be particularly easy on a janky knee. Yes, I am going to show the Bettas. Let's see. I have them spread all over the fish room. There's one in here. You can see him sorted by the power cord. This one doesn't look too bad. This was one of the sassier ones. He has most of his fins. He's in here with rosy loaches. Do I have more on this side? Let me look around. I literally had to label the tanks like this so I could remember where I stashed them. I put one in with these gobies. I did just feed the fish room, so a lot of the fish should be pretty visible. There's a dude back there. I kind of like this one. He has like a gray-blue coloration. That was pretty attractive, I thought. And he has most of his fins, but they look a little damaged. He might actually, well, I'll have to take a good look at him later. I stuck one. This guy's really pretty. It's like a teal with a gold overlay. This one was really sassy, but when he turns sideways, see the erosion at the end of his fins? He really needs some TLC. I know I keep saying that, but you know, I think that the clean water and daily water changes will do the best I can for these guys. There's another one I stuck in here. Of course, oh, he's up there. It's like a dark bluish purple. We may not be able to get a good visual on this one. TLC is tender loving care. This one is missing a lot of his anal fin. So we'll have to see. You know, all of these I think will end up recovering just fine. It's just going to take some time. Here's one in with some pygmaeus. You can see how short his tail fins are. These are pygmaeus. In the other aquarium it was habrosus. Up here, there's a dude up at the surface there. You see again how short and damaged his fins are. It really looks awful. Pardon me. And then there's a guy over here, which he's not cooperating. This one doesn't look too bad. We'll see if he comes out a little bit. He's in there with the Herigerdoni. Uh-oh. Let's see. He's up there. Doing fine. So I think that's all of them. Oh no, there's one in here. But again, you can see how the growth on the ends of the fins has like a... Well, now he's hiding. These are those emerald eye rasboras. If he comes out, here we'll back up a minute and see. You'll be able to see sort of the transparency to the ends of his fins. And that, you know, is unhealthy growth. So hopefully it'll come back. Thank you, Brandon. But all in all, you know, things could have been way worse. I just, you know, if I was going to get in male bettas, I would have probably done things a bit differently. So, yeah, some of the fins are really bad. And again, you know, it's not like I ordered these guys. I wouldn't have chosen to stock like pet store bettas. If I was going to be selling Betta splendens, I would have probably bought them from a breeder at a smaller size. But, you know, sometimes you got to roll with the punches. And I mean, so many of you guys have emailed me already saying you're interested. So I don't think I'll have a hard time rehoming them, but you know, I want to wait until they're recovered quite a bit more, at least a couple weeks. Someone asked if I get credit for shipping the wrong fish. I get a credit to get my Betta girls, but I have to just use it on getting Betta girls, so it's going to be a little bit. I do have I think 2 empty tanks in the fish room right now, so I sort of need to have enough space to make paying the freight worth it. Otherwise, you know, I'm paying way more in freight than I am for fish. And, you know, so far I've dropped the water line in all the aquariums. I think today, if I have time, I'm going to run out to the store, pick up something to just throw some makeshift lids on there. I don't generally use lids in my fish room because I'm a Bone Thug lid breaker. I'm in and out of the tanks all day long. I set them on the ground, I kick them over, I step on them, you know, so generally speaking, I don't use lids. I did have a tank set up for the sorority up on the very top row that had a lid just in case. Violent Cat 345, thank you. Hey Rachel, I have a Galaxy Reservoir with one cloudy eye. Any recommendation on treatment? You know, cloudy eye could have been it ran into something. It could be a water quality issue. Most often when you see cloudy eyes and stuff, it has to do with some sort of overfeeding or maybe you need to increase your maintenance. So I don't generally recommend treating with medications. I recommend increasing those water changes. Someone asked why they are so damaged, because they probably have been in a cup or a little tiny bag, and ammonia burn is real, guys, especially on those long fins, and it just erodes them away. Sometimes too, bettas will bite on their own fins if they're not kept in great environment, too small of a tank or with inappropriate tank mates. So I really don't know why they're so eroded. They came in that way. All I can do is my best to, you know, heal them up. You know, it is what it is. Hey Justin, do you mind if I add you as a moderator? Let's see if I can find you. Thank you. I don't really want people talking politics or controversial subjects on a fish live stream. It seems kind of ridiculous. But all in all down here, things are good. My hopes are to continue to increase the stock levels in some of the aquariums. My guppies are fine. We can look around at some more fish. Someone asked how long I plan to groom the bettas, and grooming just means caring for them to get them back into good condition, and you know, there's not really a good answer for that. It's as long as it takes. I'm assuming by having them in these big volume aquariums for the most part that their fin regrowth will be pretty quick. I'm hoping, at least. You know, generally speaking, that's how it works. You know, I'm going around to show you guys some of the plecos because I fed, everybody's out and about. These are my rams and high pancistrus, as well as panoculus. And a lot of times with the high pans, you don't see a whole lot of them except during feeding time. So I have L173Bs up. They're going to be invisible. My longfin ancistrus is on eggs again. Guys, I showed you him last time. And one of the ways that I know he's on eggs is when they do that sort of body, can you see? Body half in, half out of the tube, fanning their fins like that. And they do that to circulate the water around the eggs so that they don't fungus. And this guy, look, here's one of the babies from last time. They got a 50-50 split of standard and albino. They're kind of all over the place, but I would imagine before too long we'll see some more babies come out of there. But yeah, you know, ancistrus are really, really good parents. I made him mad the other day because I pulled out his tube to look and see what he was doing. You guys have been buying the crap out of these super reds. In fact, so much so that I think I'm going to have to take them off my list and raise another brood before I sell more. You can see there's a boy on... Whoops, I just scared him away. There was a boy back there. But there's a lot of females in here. And these guys are definitely starting to show their sexual dimorphism through those bristles. So I may list up a few females specifically and then hold off on selling more boys. the Apistogrammas. Thank you, Raina. The little Apistos, that big female. There's some Guppy Endler hybrids in here. Let's see, a boy there. And then these pygmy hatchets that stay right up at the surface. These are the golden gobies. I got these in as a special order for a friend of mine, and they're really cool. They're Rexies. These are the, ouch, Pseudomugil luminatus. They used to be called the Erie and Red Rainbows. And you may wonder why I stuck them in a planted aquarium. Number one, that crypt carpet grew in all on its own, and I didn't really want to disrupt it because it's kind of lovely. And these guys were homebred, so I was thinking it was pretty unlikely that I would have any issues with disease. I sold all the Borneo suckers out of this aquarium. This is now the Stiphodon atropurpureus aquarium, which are these dudes. And a group of these will be going into my 150-gallon Hillstream aquarium. Captain Cranky Pants, we have requests for you. Why are you frowning? Why are you so sad? I wish there was a better way for me to focus on this. And there's Whiskey. Do I keep Pomatia diffusi? Captain Spicy asked. Diffusa. 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 Diffuse up in all those too. Yeah, I keep a lot of mystery snails. What else can I show you guys that's relatively new? Oh, the Shelleys are being sassy. We can take a look at them. Everyone always enjoys that. Justin asked, or H2O Plants asked, I watched your video on Hillstream loaches and you didn't specify the tank size you recommend. What would it be for 5? It depends on which kind of Hillstream loach. That's sort of like, say, an African cichlid or pleco. Depending on species, depends on if they're territorial or not, and a lot really depends on their dietary needs. If they're an off-flux grazer, usually more space is better, because that way, you know, you don't have to supplement as hard. There are babies everywhere in here. It's been a few days since I looked in here. I mean, I fed them, but in that very back corner, I'm not sure if you can see, there's some mid-sized babies. And then there's a cloud of about 15 teeny tinies. I mean, the babies are all over this aquarium, but that's an impressive cloud back there. And it's nice to see that a lot of them are getting to a size where I can start to pool them. But, you know, things are going well in this aquarium. We have a request for you guys. That's my favorite girl right there. I should really name her someday. I'm afraid if I do, like, something tragic will happen. This is the one that bites me all the time. That Cuban gar. This is the tropical that looks intimidating but is really pretty docile, at least to me. Let's give them some food. I only feed these guys a couple times a week. Mainly because in the wild, you know, they're sort of ambush predators. So they're not used to eating all the time. So I don't want them to be... Whoa, that was sassy. Yeah, I loved when I had the algae in there too. You know, what can you do? This tank is so hard for me to try and shoot at all because of the light pollution down here. Easy, guys. My goodness, that's some sassitude. What are you guys doing? Thank you, Leanne, for the super chat. Scotland, I'd love to visit there as well. Farluella, actually they ended up getting ick, so I had to treat them, but they are now stable. I did lose maybe 3. It's really difficult with a lot of these armored catfish to tell when they're starting with illness, because their fins aren't that visible. And it's just, you know, it's not that uncommon for fish coming out of South America when it's cold here to come down with ick. So they just finished their treatment and they're all looking good now. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I didn't see who it was. Jim. Am I still keeping shrimp? Yes. I have shrimp kind of everywhere. Not sure we'll be able to see them. And this is a shrimp aquarium. These are my Malawas. In here are blue rubies. I have a bajillion D Amano shrimp, and there's also blue pearls in there. I have tangerine tigers. I keep yellow shrimp. I keep red rilly shrimp. In here are my Neocaridina calls, as well as my wild bumblebees. In here are Taiwan bees, wilds. You can see one right there. I have chocolates in this aquarium. There's one right there underneath that Anubias leaf. I have a different species of bee in here. I have cherry shrimp in here. You can see some babies on there. So I work with a lot of shrimp. I just don't advertise it very much anymore. This is the 150. I get lost staring at this. Look at these dudes. Nom 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 nom. They only really get active when it's feeding time, and they're just so stinking cute. I mean, look at this. Oh, I love them. And then in here, ouch, we have Dario, which this tank, the light's way in the back, so you're not going to be able to see them very well, but you can see that they're eating the ONIP, which is good. In here are puffers, the dwarf puffers. Kang Lee, you asked L46 and L134 together. You know, I don't really recommend keeping groups of high pants together if they're of breedable size, because they are certainly able to be hybridized, which is not recommended, especially with their current threatened status. Here are the little CPDs. You can see they're finally starting to get some size. These will be ready after the holidays to ship out. But yeah, some ember tetras. Look at this guy. Oh, but yeah. So I think I'll take a couple more questions if you guys have any, that is. BBA is black brush or black beard algae. And then I really have to get back to work. Things are pretty nuts in here. Can I drop fishes into my display tank after the quarantine period? Edwin asked. Yes, you should be able to. What makes Tropica substrate better than 88 aqua soil or something? I missed the other half. I don't know that it's necessarily better. I prefer it. I just like the way the plants do in it, and I like, you know, what it does to the water quality. It does make things a bit softer. You know, so basically what's in store for me for the next week or so is a lot of water changes for those bettas. How did I get into the monster fish? I was a moderator of Monster Fish Keepers, which was a forum from back in the day. I moderated Aquarius Central and Monster Fish Keepers. And, you know, I had a friend on the forums named B Blondie, who was an absolute priceless fountain of knowledge about Polypterus, and just from talking to her I got really interested in potentially keeping them. So I got my first one, then my second, then my third, then my gars, and you know, they're just really cool fish. So, you know, I worked for Monster Fish Keepers for a long time. Oh boy. Rachel, where do I get my shipping supplies like heat packs and fish bags? I buy from a company called Gemco, which is Jehmco, for a lot of supplies. I also buy my boxes from Uline, and my heat packs from Superior Shipping Supplies. You know, pretty much you can get them all over the place. Be careful with shipping bags. There's a bunch of articles out there, and unfortunately I experienced firsthand that some of the slip agents that are used on shipping bags can be really toxic, especially to plecos or loaches or anything that sticks to the bag. I lost thousands of dollars of fish in a week of shipping from contaminated bags. Yeah, I do still have my wild bettas, but they don't have a light on their tank anymore, so you just look like you're looking at brown water. It's not that exciting to show you. Okay, do we have it? I know I missed like 80 million questions that you guys have. So if you've been trying to ask me something, now's the time, because I'm actually looking at the chat. I love my, yeah, those Odessa barbs are sexy. That's what they look like when you really let them settle in and mature. Have I ever used Tahitian moon sand? No. I bought, it's not made anymore, but I used to use something, it's like a pool filter sand, but it was called Color Quartz. Now there's some new type out. You can buy it in different grades. Like it used to be, I think, S and T, and basically it's how fine it is. I used to use that. It's what's in with these pencils. Tahitian moon sand was expensive, and pool filter sand was not. So, you know. Am I ever going to do shirts? Yes, someday. I have to get my button gear. I have a Teespring set up. I'd like to do a t-shirt of this tattoo. It's a crayfish on brass knuckles saying, "Who you calling a shrimp?" I would like, you know, I've been asking or trying to get my logo redesigned forever. I've also bought another domain for sort of a secondary business that I want to do. So I have merch ideas for lots of stuff. The reality is doing my water changes, taking care of my family, answering your guys' emails, keeping up with the comments on YouTube, all sort of have been taking precedence over things like merch. I need to do it. I'd really like to do t-shirts and maybe a coffee mug, because I think that'd be funny. But I just got to get it done. So I'm hoping in the break between Christmas and New Year, where I don't ship, I'll be able to find the time to finish my next book and get the merch stuff all set up. Can you add Apistos and Rams into the same tank? I really prefer not to, and it's not that it can't work, it's that if you think about it, it's two species of fish that are extremely breedable, that set up territories in the same area of the tank, and that can be a little bit aggressive despite being dwarf cichlids. My preference is to pick one. So, I'm not saying it can't work, I'm just saying it usually works out better to just pick one. Do I know a lot? I didn't see that. Do you end up having to just eat the mistake of them shipping the wrong fish? No, I mean sort of, because I'm stuck with a bunch of bettas I didn't want, but I'll have a credit to get the female bettas the next time I order. Unfortunately, I just don't have a lot of tank space right now, so it's going to be a bit until I can. Fifth, the Huntress asked if rice fish are okay for a 10-gallon. Things like a Rhizius roweray or the Daisy's rice fish do absolutely fine in a 10-gallon. They're pretty fun to watch too. They have an interesting breeding strategy. Can you add German blue rams with L46? I keep rams with my my L236s, which are the identical care. Yeah, you can. Favorite Caridina and Neocaridina tank mates? Chili rasboras or nothing. I mean, I guess with housing shrimp with fish, it depends on your goals for the aquarium. If your goal is to breed shrimp, then don't put any fish. If your goal is to have some baby shrimp survive and have a little bit more activity with some fish, then it can work. You know, so it really, you have to identify what your goals are. Do I have a saltwater aquarium? No. How many books have I written? Just one. I've written a lot for magazines, both in the U.S. and internationally, but only the one book. I wrote a book for TFH with Mark Denaro, the 101 Best Freshwater Species. It's done really well. It's been a few years now. I have a second book, like, sort of roughed out. I need to do the formatting and get all the images, and in order to have images good enough for it to go to print, it takes a lot of time and effort, and I haven't gotten it done. So hopefully soon. I mean, there's so many things I want to get done. It's difficult. Is it okay to put one Bolivian ram into a community tank? Sure, as long as it's warm enough. You want to keep it nice and warm. Do I sell gar? No. I don't sell any big fish. They're way easier than, I mean, the little fish are way easier to ship than big fish. Am I going to put the bettas up for sale? Either for sale or rehoming. You know, again, I've got to wait, Amanda, until I think that they're healthy. It doesn't do anyone any good if I send out fish that are already damaged. You know, it's just going to take a little bit of time, and as long as, like, whoever they're in with isn't giving them any problems, I'll just let them hang out there and heal up and eat and, you know, be sassy bettas until they're ready. What time is it? Oh, I have customers starting in an hour as well. Any ideas on a cave for a 3-inch fish? Check out plecocaves.com or southcentralcichlids.com. They both have incredible caves. Is Prozzy Pro safe for shrimp and snails? Yes. PVC pipe works too. I like the caves. They look a little more natural. Sometimes I'll super glue plants to the top of the caves. Can fish heal up fins back to 100%? Yeah. I mean, unless the rays, the bones are really damaged, the fins will grow back. Just, you know, it takes time. What? Daniel asked, just tuned in. Hello, why didn't you? And would you quarantine something? I lost it. Oh, why didn't you, and how would you quarantine that many male bettas? I am quarantining them. They all went into, I mean, I had to put them in with tanks with other fish, but all of those tanks then get reset to their quarantine. So, you know, luckily I only have 1 week left of shipping before the holidays, so it's only impacting 8 tanks. So it'll be fine. Oh, good, Eric. You got your fish? I sent you a couple extra of those Paragiardoni because I really think you're going to enjoy them. Best Danios for Hillstream Aquarium. I like Danio Kyathit or Brachidanio Kyathit. I like Danio Chopre, actually. The glow light Danio are really, really wonderful, and they're very colorful. All of those do. I mean, any of those ones that are from, you know, more streamlined in body shape do pretty well. I keep Kyathit in my Hillstream. I don't ever recommend medications, guys. Hi from Denmark. Good tank mates for discus. The limiting factor with stocking fish with discus or high pancistrus or even rams is temperature. So you've just got to find, you know, things that do well in really warm temperatures. And for the most part with discus, that's tetras. You can do ancistrus. Some Coreodoros like Sterbai do really well. You know, yes, Sasquatch Aquatics, the best medicine is clean water. I agree 100%. Now, there does come times where you have to medicate for things, but, you know, I don't ever recommend specific medications because the reality, you guys, you have to remember that meds are designed to kill things. They're designed to kill disease. And often as aquarists, unless we're doing smears with a microscope, we have no idea truly what we're treating in a lot of cases. So we're just throwing meds at fish, and it's, you know, if we're using antibiotics, we're killing good bacteria and bad bacteria. We could not even be treating what we're trying to fight, and we're just damaging the immunity of the fish. So unless you really know or have a good idea of what you're treating, you know, meds are just, I think they're dangerous. So, you know, I tend to feed like live or frozen foods, do a lot of water changes, see if they respond to that. If not, then I've shown you guys before my big book, my handbook of fish diseases that I use. It has flow charts that you can go through and sort of figure out what you're dealing with and make an educated guess that way. Hello from South Africa. One of my favorite fish customers that now lives in the United States is from South Africa. And I used to ride horses all growing up. I rode all over the place. I did 3-day eventing, and one of my favorite horse families was from South Africa. Really incredible people. All right, well, I think I'm about to finish up here. I have a lot of things I have to do. Yes, I did eventing. Well, I did. I don't anymore. I did all the way up to pre-Olympic. I rode professionally for about, well, I started competing when I was 5. I started competing internationally when I was about 15. I stopped when I was about 20. I grew up on a big self-sustaining farm, and we had horses, lots of horses. Do I use CO2? No. Have I gotten anywhere with the fire loaches? No, not really. They, you know, I've dewormed them twice. Let's take a look. You can see, maybe you can see a pile in the back there. There's one up front here. You know, I really want to add these into the 150, but some of them, like that one, the body condition is not perfect. And I don't, you know, having not kept these before, I'm not sure if it's how they're supposed to look or not. It might be a sexual dimorphism that boys are a little bit narrower than girls, but until I figure that out, you know, just let them be there. I think I need to add some more rocks in there too if I really want them to sort of set up shop. For now, I've just been observing them and enjoying them, honestly. They're really stinking cute. So Chelsea says all of her betta live with shrimp. And here's something we'll be talking about in this month. I added 12 Amano shrimp in with Sid Fishus upstairs. There's one left. And I found one on my bathroom floor, which freaked me out because now at night I'm scared they're going to crawl on my ears, which is ridiculous. But I did find an Amano. That tank has a lid. I found an Amano all the way in my bathroom. Really creepy. Freaked me out. What is the Latin name of the fire loaches? Barbucca, B-A-R-B-U-C-C-A, diabolica. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate the super chats. You guys realize, like, these super chats, it's kind of cool. They come out with your YouTube revenue. So these will come out like the week before Christmas. So it's like getting a Christmas bonus. It's really awesome. You stepped on an escaped Amano. Amano are like grasshoppers. Sometimes when I'm selling the big Amanos, you know, when they're over like 1.5 inches, I put a warning label on the bags because they can jump and run like grasshoppers. It's insane. Hi, I have some big fish. I would like to sell some. Robin, if big fish are hard to ship, I would recommend you find a local fish club. You know, shipping fish and selling fish is a very steep learning curve. Do I think Hillstream loaches and panda loaches would work together? Yeah. Someone asked if I have a P.O. box. No, but I have the paperwork to get one. I just haven't gotten there. One of the things, Amazon approached me about having an affiliate thing. So I think what I'm going to do is set up a wish list there, as well as a list of recommendations for things that I actually use, so that when I say things like, you know, this poly filter is awesome, I can tell you guys that you can find it there. I guess maybe I get like a percentage of sales. I don't even know, but I figured it wouldn't hurt to create sort of a list of stuff that's good. But I don't know how it'll work. I tried to figure it out this morning, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm not very technologically savvy. What coffee do I drink? Anything dark. Right now we just use a drip machine. I used to do French press before I had kids and a hectic schedule. I'm not that picky with coffee. I just love coffee. I've been drinking it my whole life. Someone asked how poly filter is different from filter floss. Filter floss is a mechanical filtration, meaning it filters out particulates and stuff in the water column from the water passing through it. So it'll collect debris and things like that. It's like a polisher if you think about it. Whereas poly filter is a chemical media, meaning that it has compounds that adsorb, meaning just from the water touching the poly filter as well as the water passing through it, it filters out and binds to impurities. This can be things like organics, which makes it turn brown. It can be ammonia, which makes it turn yellow. It can be copper, which makes it turn blue. Or it can be medications, and at which time it, you know, changes color to whatever medication you use. So it's comparable to something like Purigen or Carbon, but instead of it having to be in the filter, you can float it in your aquarium. So I find it to be really useful, especially because it changes color. So with nano tanks in particular, you know, with that little bit of dilution, your parameters can get real wonky real fast. And I find that adding some poly filter can help give you a heads up when you need to do an in-between water change. So that's my little spiel. Somebody asked me about goldfish. I don't know. Kirk says I need an assistant. I do, but I don't have to pay one. And I won't let go of any level of like quality control for what I'm doing down here. Like, you know, in theory, it'd be great to have someone come and do water changes, but what if they cross-contaminate? In theory, it'd be great to have someone pack some boxes with me, but what if they do it wrong? In theory, it'd be great to have someone do my shipping estimates and take orders, but you know, what if someone has questions about their fish? Like, I don't know what to do. So I have hired people to pick up my fish, which is progress. But, you know, I've had people offer to be interns. But again, like, my feeling is if I have an intern, I'm going to have to watch them like a hawk to make sure that there's nothing wrong being done. And if I'm going to stand there and watch them, I might as well do it myself. I have a system. So, you know, one of the ideas I had was I bought, as I mentioned a little bit ago, I bought a new domain name, and it's for predominantly things like hardscape foods, aquascaping tools, substrates, etc. What I'd like to do is build a second website and have someone else be able to package up those things, access the back end of the site, and take care of all those orders for me. And then that way I could hire them on an hourly basis. They could come in, fulfill those orders, and I could just deal with the fish, unless someone wants me to do a custom mock-up, in which case I could have that as an item in the cart that they could purchase. You know, but all these ideas I have yet to implement, so we'll see. Aqua Apprentice thinks I'm going to be overwhelmed. Well, you know, I've been doing it for 12 years. I'm doing all right so far. The hardest part is when I travel and come home and I get behind, and for that I really should train someone to come in and at least do the water changes on the most densely stocked aquariums. All right. Give you guys like 5 more minutes, maybe 10, and then we'll finish up and I'll get back to work. I hope I haven't missed any of the questions that you've been asking. What substrate do I recommend for Coreodoras? I really like to use, I need more coffee. I really like to use very fine grained sand or very, very smooth, small gravel. One of my favorite substrates is Carib Sea Supernatural, some of the Amazon gravels. They're really, really fine, very, very soft. And again, sand is great, but it really depends on what species of cories. There's a bunch of different types of cories, like families of cories, and they have different feeding strategies. Some of them will bury their face up to their eyes as part of their normal feeding strategy. Those you would want sand. Some of them eat more off the surface. They're a bit more flexible. Some of them are mid-water. So it really depends on what kind of Coreodoras you're talking about. Can we get a knuckle shot? Fish pimp. Do I ever do tours or host guests in my fish room? I do in-person customers by appointment. Sometimes they're just window shopping. Most often they're shopping. I just do everything by appointment because my schedule's insane with my family. Oh, which reminds me, I got errands to run. Pool filter sand is great and cheap. Someone just said, before I leave, know where to get that mug. I made it. I did it, a paint your own pottery thing. So, you know, it was called the Prancing Pig. Fish Pimp does need to be a shirt, but I don't own the trademark. There's a fishing company that makes fishing lures that actually owns that and has for a very long time. And I don't really want to get sued for trademark infringement. I did think about doing a you know, like a logo with Fish Pimp on it. But, you know, I'd have to reach out to that company first because they also sell merchandise. And again, I don't really want to be sued. I'm a small business. I don't have the money for lawyers that a big business does. Yeah, and the reality is they may not care, but maybe they do. The thing with trademark law and all of that is I'd be using the exact same words that they are. Now their font is different, but you know, it's kind of a fine line. It really depends on what sort of trademark paperwork and classifications they have. Last thing though I need is issues. Pimp dress, that's an interesting word. Sid is doing great. I mean, he's a mono shrimp destroyer, but also doing great. Yes, Karen, that was my concern as well. Someone asked, do I have any recommendations for schooling Asian fish for a heavily planted 46-gallon bow front with a pearl gourami? I mean, there's tons of things that would work. It really depends on what color and activity you're looking for. When am I visiting Mexico? In March. I'm going to Monterrey. I'll be lecturing for, oh dear, I can't remember the name of the club. Let me see if I can find it for you. It starts with a C. I'll be putting that information up on my website as well as on my Facebook page at some point. But it's for a convention. Ficado, who's a pretty talented, well, internationally famous aquascaper, will be speaking on aquariums. I'll be speaking, and I believe maybe Mike Sensky is speaking as well. Do I scuba dive? No. Thank you, Michael Lowe. I hope you have an awesome holiday season as well. Am I ever in New Hampshire? Yes. My husband is from Portsmouthy area, York, Maine, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We stayed up in Vermont this past summer and then went over to New Hampshire to do a whale watch, you know, and we'd really like to go back soon. It's a beautiful area. I love it. Absolutely love going up to New Hampshire, Maine. Do I play an instrument? No. I was always too busy with horses and running a farm to really take up music. I always thought it'd be fun to be like the front person to a cool band, but I can't sing and I can't play an instrument, so whatever. I do my hair. My husband helps get the back. Do I still have the Bettas? Yes. They're doing great. I showed them earlier. Once this is over, it'll buffer and everything, and then if you want to go back and look, you can. Edwin, I've answered that question twice now. Yes, after your quarantine, you should be able to just add them to your display aquarium. Thanks. This is yesterday's hair. Pretty fancy. I have really cooperative hair. Not that this is particularly interesting or at all related to fish, but I have like calyx all over my head, so my hair has always stood up in all directions. It's part of the reason I rocked a mohawk for 20 years. It, you know, it just kind of goes in every direction anyway. How to get rid of cyanobacteria. Try increasing your flow, and I like to use a product for saltwater for red slime algae called, oh, what is it called? Chemiclean. It's very safe, it's invertebrate safe, and it works. But you would want to manually remove it, and you have to figure out why you're getting it. Usually it's a flow issue. Getting Asian rummy nose anytime soon. I had ordered them for this week, I just didn't get them. I ordered a lot of things for this week and I didn't get them. I ordered a lot of things this week and then got male Bettas. Can I buy your book in Canada? I believe it's available on Amazon all over the place. I mean, for the first like year and a half after the book came out, I was doing all the shipping because I don't get royalties. But now, you know, with Amazon, you can get it for cheaper from them. And then if I ever see you at an event or whatever, I'm happy to sign it and personalize it for you. Am I from Manitoba? No, I'm from Pennsylvania. Born and raised. Actually, I was born in Maryland, raised in Pennsylvania. How many male Bettas? I was sent 8. I ordered 8 female Bettas because I wanted to set up a sorority. I thought it'd be fun to, you know, do a community tank that would be easier for folks to emulate by buying from their local stores. So I was going to convert one of my 30 longs or 55s into, at least temporarily, a Betta sorority with some other community fish. But, you know, that plan's been foiled for now. We'll revisit that later. For now, I mean, I got to sell off a bunch more of my personal fish. I sent out a bunch this week. Just got to figure out which ones I'm going to get rid of to make more room to do more things. Name of magazines I've written for is Amazonas Magazine, and I write a column that's bi-monthly for the Aquatic Gardener, or TAG, which is the publication for the American Gardeners, or Aquatic Gardeners Association, the AGA, which is an international organization. I can't remember if I said it in this stream or the other one, but this month, make sure you have that notification bell going, because in the midst of content I'm going to be giving away some different publications to you guys. I reached out to some of the magazines I really like, including those that I write for, to get some free subscriptions for you guys, which will be international. I mean, you know, knowledge is power, so I thought it'd be really cool as part of this Fishmas thing to be able to give you guys a chance to get those publications for free. So, and that'll be anywhere in the world. So, you know, and they've both been very gracious in offering multiple subscriptions. So, you know, I figured I'll show you guys some of my favorite books. Now, I can't get those for free, but I can show them to you. I thought maybe I'd do some segments on gift ideas for the avid aquarist. Keep up with my normal content, do more of these live streams this month, and maybe show you some peeks into the rest of my life and my other pets as well. Hey, Bob. I assume you're in there. I saw someone say hi to you. So, you know, I also have some ideas for other things, you know, but I don't really want to cheapen my channel by doing a ton of giveaways. I really like that, like, I have this back and forth with those of you that watch my videos and follow my videos and comment on my videos, and I don't really want a ton of people showing up just to try and get free crap, but I also want to be able to reward you guys with some free crap. So I think what I'm going to do is just sort of stick it into my videos, and those of you that actually watch and engage will then be able to take advantage of it. And if you tell your friends and they start watching and engaging, great. But I don't want it to turn into a three-ring circus of people just showing up and saying, give me free stuff. I want it to go to those of you that have, I mean, made my channel what it is. So we'll see how it goes. You know, I have some ideas. Originally, I was going to do the 12 days of Christmas. Then I realized the 12 days of Christmas are technically start on Christmas, and I wanted to do it before Christmas, and that's how I decided I would do this daily content. And then I'm going to do a series of giveaways within that. So, you know, it's kind of, you know, I'm not entirely sure how or what to do. So we'll figure it out together. How's that sound? I'm not sure, like, you know, for instance, for one of the things I want to give away, I'll have 12. You know, that would be fun if I was doing the 12 days of Christmas. It'll be cool to give away 12 sets of things to you guys. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Depending on how it goes, you know, maybe this will be something that I can do again for different occasions. I don't know. I don't really want to become a giveaway channel, but I do really like to support organizations that I think are really valuable. And when they, in turn, want to support me and you guys, I think that's great. So we'll see how it goes. It's the best I can do. I don't run any CO2 at all. My website is msjinx.com, msjinkzd.com. I don't update much except for my stock list and my calendar, but again, it's supposed to be being redone, and at that point, hopefully it'll be user-friendly for me, a little bit more user-friendly. Thank you for the super chat, Just My Fish. How about donating to your charity and draw a raffle to donors? Yeah, you know, I've thought about that. One of the things that I do is buy from fish companies, specifically those that give back to conservation efforts as part of the income from selling their fish. Thought about doing charity stuff. You know, I have some moral things with a lot of the charities, in that a lot of times the donations go to paying salaries instead of to the cause that I believe in. Things that my company, basically because I'm sole proprietor, has done in the past is, for instance, after the big typhoon, I bought fishing boats for a local village so that they could resume supporting their families, things like that. Lena, you're not blocked as far as I know. You know, so I try and sort of put my money where my mouth is and not just give to any charities. Did I go to school in Pennsylvania? I went to school, college in Philadelphia, and parochial school in York County. So yeah, I went to school in PA. I've lived in PA my entire life except for a few years when my husband and I first got married. We lived in Delaware, just below Philadelphia. Michael would like to raise some carnivorous plants. Do I recommend an easy one to start? This I need more coffee. It's all the way upstairs. There's a lot of easy pitcher plants. I find that a lot of the Sarracenias, the subtropical ones, the ones that are native to sort of the southern U.S., are pretty easy. I'm going to do a lot more with carnivorous plants in the spring when mine come out of dormancy. So, you know, Ella asked if I'm a Steelers fan. You know, the only sports I watch are the ones my kids compete in and professional surfing. I'm absolutely addicted to professional surfing, and I have no idea why. I don't surf, but I love it. Jim, yes, the pitcher plants need those 40 days of 40 degrees. Lena, you asked, I cut the corner mat and filter in the 150 to control the substrate. How has that worked out? It worked great. I've cleaned that corner filter a few times now, and it's held the substrate out of the way, and it's gone really, really well. Someone asked where I got my tubs for outdoors. The big ones are livestock troughs, so I bought them at a Tractor Supply. I bought a lot of them off Craigslist. They're just, you know, livestock like cattle or horse waterers. And but recently what I just stocked all over the greenhouse are Laguna tubs, which are really, really affordable. The parent company to that is Fluval, I believe, or Hagen technically. And those are something that could be ordered by your fish store, and they're super affordable. Are there tubs big enough for red-tail cats? Red-tail cats get massive. I mean, they just should not be really kept. Melissa, you asked any tips on finding a fish club near you. Google the major city near you and aquarium club, or do a search on Facebook. Also, Amazonas Magazine has a calendar and a database of events and clubs. You may be able to find one that way, or if that's not working out for you, shoot me an email through my website and I'll be happy to tell you if I know any in your area. You know, I've been to a lot of them. With you know, East Coast, there's clubs everywhere. Midwest, it's sort of spotty, and West Coast, they're a lot more spread out. But, you know, I think there's clubs in every state. It just depends on how much travel you're willing to do. Mavi asked how big my water bill is. It's $0. I have a well. At what age did I start this hobby? We had fish all growing up. I stopped keeping fish when I was in college and started again after I had my older daughter, and started with a vengeance. She'll be 15 in a couple weeks. New Hampshire clubs. I know of several Vermont clubs. There's one in Burlington. There's one just over the border in Canada. There's some Massachusetts clubs. There's a bunch of Connecticut clubs. As far as New Hampshire specifically, I don't. What did I go to college for? I have a bachelor's in psychology, a bachelor of arts, and a master's in art therapy. And during college and after, I worked as a veterinary technician. Ella says that you're going to get a greenhouse this spring. That's awesome. I'll be doing lots of videos of what I'm doing with mine, but I have to be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm doing. We can learn together. So, you know, right now, actually I meant to bring it down with me. I'm trying to learn about the relative humidity to temperature ratios in my greenhouse for winter. I do. Katrina Elliott asked if I have a well, do I have to worry about it running out? Yes. That's why I tend to down here do my water changes in stages. Like I have the different walls of tanks. I do the tanks that have new quarantine and then one wall a day. So I don't tend to do them all in one day because I don't want to run my well dry. What time is it? Oh, we're at over an hour, so I am going to sign off here, guys, and get to work. I need to vacuum the fish room before customers start, and I need to eat some breakfast. I'm hungry. But I wanted to thank you guys for coming out, and again, make sure you have that notification bell on so that those of you who have supported me can take advantage of these giveaways I'll be coming, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll put out some content tomorrow. I hope all of you have a wonderful day, and thank you.